Hello, my dear friends. My name is Ashley with My Homeschool Brain, where I let you pick all the juicy tidbits out and take what you need. I am a homeschool mom of two currently. I have three children, but the oldest does attend public school. All three of my children have some variation of learning curves, and yes, we call them curves in our house. Because of their learning curves, there's nothing that they can't do. It's just going to take them a little longer to do it. So in our house, we like to take the scenic route for our education and kind of go around that curve a little bit, hence the word learning curve. All three are dyslexic, two are dysgraphic with dyscalculia, and one has sensory issues. So we come with a different perspective on learning than a lot of families, and so I thought I'd just bring those goodies to you. See how they work, how you can use them or completely ignore them because they're not functioning for you. That's great. But if I don't offer it, you don't know what's in my brain. So here we go. Today we're going to discuss homeschool prep. What are the absolute 5 basic things you need to do either before you start homeschooling or every year as the homeschool season comes back around? These things are state laws, know your why, goal setting, some kind of a vision or a mission statement, and your family style. So let's break those down a little bit. Your state laws. Go to www.hslda.org, which is your Homeschool Legal Defense Association. There you will find lots and lots of information on your specific state. What are the rules, regulations, and requirements? Does your kid have to do the state testing every year? Does your school, your homeschool, have to report with their intent to homeschool? Does your school have to keep track of attendance and do a specific number of days? Or do you have to do a specific number of hours during those specific days? So every state is different on how they have wrapped up their homeschool every year, and know yours. I would actually print that off every year and put it in this current year's student portfolios, which we'll explain those in a different video, but each child should have a copy of that in their portfolio. The second thing is know your why. Why are you homeschooling? You know, you've made this decision, you've made this commitment, but why? If you are a family who is only using this year as a filler year because of COVID and you're going to keep them home this year, but next year, as soon as things are back to normal, you're going to put them back in public school, amazing, fabulous. So glad you're doing that for your family. It is a fun adventure. You're going to enjoy some time with your kids, or maybe they'll stress you out, but either way, you'll definitely enjoy this year, I think, with the just the more one-on-one with your children. And next year, send them back to public school. There is nothing wrong with that. My oldest is in 8th grade this year, and about halfway through 6th grade, he was very adamant he wanted to go back to public school. So he is. He's doing great, and public school isn't always bad. It was for my oldest when he was little, and it is for my littles now, only because of our learning curves, but that's our why. We homeschool because of our learning curves. And if the littles ever decide, you know what, Mama, I've got this under control, I can advocate for myself now, I know what I need, I've got this, and I want to go back to public school, go. You know, we'll make it happen. But know your why. The next thing is to set goals for your kids and for your homeschool. For my kids, because of the dyslexia, we are really focusing in on the phonics. We started that last year after we pulled them from a public school where they were doing sight words and it was not working. Spelling words were not working because they didn't understand the rules of spelling. So we are started last year basically starting over with our phonics and learning all those little rules. Very important for kids who struggle with reading in the written language. Those phonics really do help. The second goal for my kids is specific to math, And my oldest of the two is amazing. He just really gets math. It just comes easy. New concepts are not hard to teach. And he's really good at figuring out his math problems or his math facts in his head, but I'd like him to memorize them if at all possible. And if not, then he'll just keep doing it the way he's doing it, but I think he can do it. So math, multiplication facts, memorization is a goal for him. And for her, it is just to reinforce those fundamental math foundations. Having dyscalculia means, in a nutshell, that you struggle not with necessarily math, but the concept of math. Why does 1 + 1 = 2? Why is it that they form things or they rewrite them in confusing ways just to trip me up? Why isn't it just the same thing every day? It's a thing. So for her is to really reinforce those foundational stepping stones, to where as she progresses, it's not going to be like, oh, what was that I learned? Because she'll have reinforced that. The fourth step is to create or decide on a family mission statement or vision for your school. For us, that looks like this. We want to have caring hearts, always very compassionate, servants' hearts, if you will. We want to keep our minds open to new learning styles, new avenues of education, and just not come in with this, school's terrible and I hate learning and it's stupid attitude, which is what they've had because of the public school system, especially with the reading and the whole language learning process. The sight words just didn't work for them, so they always have had really bad attitudes about school because they didn't understand it. And now we're focusing on having good attitudes towards learning new things. And the third part to that piece for us is knowing that our learning curves do not define us. What we get on our math test is not going to tell us who we're going to be and what kind of person we're going to be when we grow up. Having dyslexia does not define who we're going to become and these amazing things that we're going to do. We don't know. And so don't let those learning curves define who you are. And finally, the fifth piece to this puzzle is your family lifestyle. We are a family of routines. We're very comfortable with not following the clock as much, but getting this, and this done in this order. And we have a goal of being done by a certain time, but if it doesn't happen, it doesn't happen. There are other families who basically live in their car because they're at appointments, so they're involved in this program and that program, and they live in the car, and that's great. If you are a family who is very clock-driven, is it the traditional 8 o'clock you do this, 8:05 you start this, 8:15 you do this, then knowing those things will help you in choosing curriculum later, because that curriculum that you think is pretty or it looks fun or it's super hands-on and has lots of manipulatives and lots of little projects to do, if you're in the car family, that program may not work for you, at least not as often as you would want it to. Or if you're the family that is at home all the time but just doesn't like the hands-on projects. I don't want to do big, massive projects all day, every day. But, to each their own. So knowing your family style will be very, very important as you progress through your homeschool journey. So here is a recap. Know your state laws. Understand and know your why. Set some goals for your kids. Create some kind of a mission and vision statement, and then know your family's lifestyle. Knowing these 5 things will help you as we move forward when we go to deciding on curriculum and setting your day and your planners, and all that stuff. It'll be so very important to know those things before we move forward. So until next time, welcome to my crazy, and we'll talk to you later.